Hello and welcome to yesterday's airlines. In this video we're back at Xin Long International Airport for another update on new arrivals and departures from this big layout of a Chinese 400 scale airport. Now if you didn't catch my last video, which went through some of the changes that have been recently made to the Xin Long layout, including the new background and the monorail, extra terminal pieces, bus terminal, that kind of stuff, then don't forget to check out that video. But in this one, I wanted to look at some of the new traffic that has been visiting Xin Long in the recent months, because it's been a little while since I last did an update for that. So that's what we're going to be covering off in this video. Of course, before I get to that, please chuck a like on the video if you're enjoying the content, and don't forget to subscribe to yesterday's airlines. I really appreciate everyone that does subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for watching. But let's get on and see what's been going on at Xin Long recently. So I've got the model set up at the moment with a range of airliners. I've got a slightly different look to it than usual because there's a lot more China Eastern this go around than usual. So a good chunk of this pier here, what used to be the L pier, has got China Eastern at it. We've still got a lot of China Southern operating from the J pier of Terminal 2 there. And it is in Terminal 2 that we're going to start working on this video. So we start the video with a look at some of the China Eastern traffic. You can see we've got a couple of their 737s here operating regional flights out to various destinations like Changsha. We've also got Asean Airlines A320 there, but at the end of the pier we've got B304D, one of China Eastern's Airbus A350-900s here. She's getting ready for her next departure. She's going to be operating one of China Eastern's long-haul routes from Xin Long. This one's going to the Global Alliance International Airport. So a big shout out to ATL, to DAL Aviation, my friend Charles, who featured me in one of his videos operating an A350 back to Xin Long. So straight back at you, Charles. Hope you enjoy this shout out. This A350 is on her way to your Global Alliance International Airport. Check out Charles' channel if you haven't already. It's Atlanta to Dallas Aviation, and well worth a look. But here she is pushing back from her gate, operating off to the Global Alliance International Airport. Tug has now got her back onto the taxiway, and she is ready to depart. Returning back to Terminal 2, and we have the China Southern gates, and you can see there's a busy time currently at the J pier with a lot of China Southern narrow bodies, including a couple of very attractive special schemes on the 737-800s, and one of the few remaining A380s also still in service at this time, docked at the end gate. But also at the terminal at the present time is one of the American carriers serving Xin Long, and it is of course Delta Airlines here operating this A350-900 flying to Los Angeles. It's quite a tight fit at the end gate here, so as she is pushed back from the gate, the tug has to position her at an angle so she does not impact the barrier or the monorail at the back end, but there's still plenty of room on taxiway for an A350. Following her departure, we now have B5598 wearing this lovely China Asean Expo scheme, and she's being pushed back for a departure to Wuhan. I have to say, I think this is a really attractive scheme, and one of the reasons I collect Chinese airliners is for this kind of awesome livery. But here she is, ready to go. This is an NG Models release just from January. And over on the other side of Terminal 2, you can see that we've got one of the African operators into Xin Long. African nations have increasingly got strong ties with the People's Republic, and Air Tanzania is now operating their 787-8s to Xin Long 3 times a week in this very attractive scheme featuring the Mount Kilimanjaro and the giraffe. And here she is pushing back for her departure to the Tanzanian capital. And this is another recent Aviation 400 purchase that I have made. And in fact, I gave this model a review at the website, so check that out. But very attractive model and a really nice addition to the fleet. And that gate does not remain empty for long, because coming along very soon after the departure of the Air Tanzania is a Qantas 7879. We have VH Zulu November Hotel wearing this very nice Go Australia scheme, and this model has been made by Phoenix Models in their updated 787 mold, another model which has had a review at yesterdaysairlines.com recently. So again, check that out if you haven't seen that already. But looking really good, and there she is at her gate with passengers disembarking after a flight from Melbourne. Just behind her, you can see we've got one of the China Eastern wide-body flights pushing back, and one of the A330-200s. And this aircraft is operating on the Shanghai trunk route. And as you can see, she is the last wide-body gate of this portion of the airport. So the taxiway narrows to her left, but there's room enough for her to push back for her departure to Shanghai. And as you can see, it's not just Airbuses and Boeings at Xin Long, because increasingly there are more Chinese products, and China Eastern has started flying in its new COMAC C919s with at least one aircraft based at Xin Long, and this aircraft has been used on some of the direct services to Shanghai, and this aircraft is just returning from a sortie to Shanghai and moving into the narrow body gates in the center of Terminal 2, where she's going to pull in between 737 MAX and the Series 800 to her starboard side. The COMAC 919 really does make an interesting comparison to the Boeing product. As you can see, it does look quite substantially different to the 737 and an A320 as well, to be honest, and is increasingly popular at Xin Long. And joining Delta Airlines as Xin Long's second United States airline to operate direct services, over here in Terminal 1 at the Star Alliance terminal, we have United Airlines, who are now operating a daily service to San Francisco, in this case using Boeing 787-10. And this aircraft, or this model, should I say, is Aviation 400. Really nice model and looks really good as she pushes back from her gate for her service back to SFO. And it isn't just China Eastern that have begun operating COMAC 919s into Xin. China Southern has also begun operations, and this aircraft is one of several now visiting the airport, mainly in place of A320s and 737s on some of the trunk routes. In this case, the aircraft has come from Guangzhou, a service which is connected multiple times a day from Xin, and she's pulling here into gate 16B, one of the remote gates, which is not directly served by an airbridge. Again, the 919 has this very blunt nose, looks substantially different to a 737 or an A320. It's good to see a little bit of diversity at a modern airport, to be honest. In terms of the model itself, 919s have been released in the China Southern livery from most manufacturers nowadays. This one is a Panda Models release, whereas the China Eastern example that's still docked over on the other pier here is actually by NG Models. Both of them look like they're pretty good molds, and I'll eventually get around, no doubt, to having a closer look at those at the website, so stay tuned for that. But it's also not just China Southern and Eastern that are flying the 919 into Xin nowadays, because like them, Air China have also begun operating the 919, and just as these two are at the gate, an Air China example has begun to taxi past on her way to Terminal 1 on a flight from Beijing, the new Daxing airport. So good to see 3 919s at Xin International all at the same time, but I'm sure in the future that is going to become a very common sight. This model again is a Panda Models release, but it has been made by NG and Phoenix and JC Wings as well. Now, Sichuan Airlines is a regular visitor to Xin, but they don't regularly operate their wide-body aircraft into the airport because it is not a hub of theirs. However, this is Sichuan Airlines' very latest Airbus A350, and she's operating a quick route-proving flight before she gets put onto international duty. So she has arrived from Chengdu and is pulling around into the wide-body gate at Terminal 1 that previously was occupied by that United 787. So another variation on the Panda route scheme for this Sichuan A350. And our last new visitor for this video is a cargo operator. It's Air Road Cargo. Their single 737-800 is being loaded, and she's operating a flight to Taipei in Taiwan. So she's just beginning to get loaded for that departure. But that's it for this quick video of new arrivals at Xin Long International. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more content, but for now, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.